Let me tell you secret. Good morning, pineapple.
I think what they're doing is they're cheating. I think they're cheating. They want to change the current system to make it bend toward the outcome they want. And so, if you believe the public reporting, they get a call that says, hey, redo your lines, even though the fallout is going to include exactly what you said, which is, taking the franchise, the vote, away from specific communities. And in the case of Texas, Latino and Black voters.
Yeah.
And diluting their votes. And this is not a census year.
Yeah.
But this is a year with the big, beautiful bill and the unpopularity of it.
She's so drunk.
So they want to bend the rules. And I have to say that, those Texan legislators, good for them. Here's how I think about it. I think you're right.
That's how I sound when I'm drunk. What did I get drunk? Oh, you want to get drunk? Good morning, pineapples. There's nothing in it. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Petersen. They call me AP for Liberty because I am for liberty. Good morning. Good morning. Let's rise and freedom. This is Wake Up America. You are tuned into the one show where facts, fun, and freedom all collide into a supernova of liberty talk. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm so glad to have you here. Click that like button. And if today's your first time watching the Wake Up America show, you were probably like, what the hell was the deal with that intro? Just a little fan service. Every once in a while, you got to do a little fan service. That's what we call it in the industry. What industry are you in, Austin? I'm unemployed. No, fun employed. It's a lot of fun to be Wah, 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 wah. All right, let's get to it. California Governor Gavin Newsom, the slick hair, the smug smile, Silicon Valley smile bot, thinks he can be the new Trump. I am not kidding. God, Trump, what are you doing? What is that sound? I'm Austin Petersen, and I am so glad to have so many of our friends of Liberty joining us live here today. Have they clicked the like button, though? I sure hope so. Gavin Newsom thinks that gerrymandering California into a one-party state somehow makes him look like a fighter, except Trump fought for his voters. Newsom fights to make sure millions of Californians don't get a voice in the first place. Trump built businesses. Newsom built a homeless empire. Yikes. Wah, wah. No offense.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Newsom raised prices so high you need a mortgage to fill your gas tank. This guy isn't the new Trump. He is the new Trudeau with Botox. And while Gavin plays dictator in California and Nero fiddled while Rome burned, his policies are literally killing people, which brings us this morning to Florida. An illegal migrant truck driver who should have been deported was handed work papers under the Biden administration. He mowed down 3 innocent Americans after a rogue U-turn. The man was calm as a cucumber while families were torn apart because California gave him a CDL and Biden gave him a permission slip. This is what open borders really costs. Not slogans, not tweets, not white papers, but lives. The federal government has failed in its most basic duty, which is to protect national security. And now families in Florida are planning funerals because Washington can't get its act together on policing our country efficiently or effectively. But don't worry, guys. We've got Generation Z. They're coming to save us. They've got a new identity. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Who taught these kids? Because they now have a new sexuality, Generation Z. It's called graysexuality. Graysexuality, yes. It means not gay. Okay, I know you're like, oh no, I'm pretty sure it's gay, and you don't even know what it is. Well, let me just wait before you leap to judgment. Gray sexuality. It's not gay. It's not straight. Not asexual. Sometimes maybe, sometimes not. Right. So there's the gray area. It's the Costco sampler platter of sexual identities. Every few months you feel attraction. Then you clock out until the next quarter. They call it the gray area. I call it the TikTok algorithm at work, sadly, on our kids. The Chinese manipulation bots. As I get older, I sound more and more boomer. The conspiracies are real. Sometimes in the heat of the moment. Meanwhile, so Camellia will be with us at 8 a.m. Central Time to talk about all that fun. We've got so much fun to come. I mean, I'm booking out guests like next week that are fantastic. Not going to announce them just yet, but we've got a Latin American Liberty Summit tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Central Time with two leading members of the Latin American community. We shall hear from Tony Martinez and Maylin Salavaria at 8:30 tomorrow because the Bolivians threw out their socialists. What's going on in South America? Why can't we do what South America is doing and throw out our socialists? No, unfortunately, here we turn them into mayors of New York City or maybe the next president of the United States. We're going to talk to Camellia later about gray sexuality. So here's the cultural nugget. Why did men used to look older? Has anyone noticed this? You ever looked at the television show Cheers or seen the memes where it's like these people are in their 30s and you're like, good God, no. Those people, they've got to be like late 40s, 50s. No. Yeah, or do you ever look at your parents' yearbooks and think that the seniors look like substitute teachers? It turns out that this is a real phenomenon. It's a mix of fashion, lifestyle, and the fact that back then people were chain smoking and working in steel mills instead of crying on TikTok about their exes. Soft. We're gonna break that one down with Camellia too. We'll have some laughs, so stick around for 8 a.m. if you wanna laugh your butt off. It's not all jokes though. The FBI has finally admitted what parents already know. American public schools are a nightmare. 1.3 million crimes on school property since 2020. Half of law enforcement agencies didn't even report of them on these. The real number is higher. Assaults, sex offenses, chaos. That is the system that our taxpayer dollars are paying for. And that the teachers' unions are defending to the death. Corey DeAngelis joins us this morning at 8:30 to explain why school choice is no longer optional for our society. It is about survival. And for those of you who power this show, many of whom I am so grateful for, and there are too many for me to speak all of your names, but you know who you be. Remember, when you chip in during this live show with Rumble Rants or grab something at the Griff Shop, you unlock more than just bonus content. You unlock the truth. You unlock a liberty family fighting to spread the ideas of limited government in the United States by building a network. Now, I've got something for you today. Do we have bonus content at $75? Yes. Do we have something extra special cooked up for you? A special message if we hit $100? Yes. But I'm going to do this today, and I was debating on whether or not I was going to do this because I really wanted to keep this for myself. But I found this at the Missouri State Fair, and anybody who knows me personally knows my mom's like, not my mom, my wife, same thing, right? Stephanie, she knows I'm very picky, and I have an eye for nice things, clothes and accessories and firearms and firearm accessories. I'm the Hank Hill of firearms and firearms accessories. But I saw this at the Missouri State Fair the other day, and I'm going to do a promotion today. And if it doesn't happen, if it doesn't work, if somebody doesn't do it today, that's my sign that I should keep it. But this thing shines like the Superman logo, this knife that I found at the State Fair. And when I saw the American flag on the outside of it, I was already sold. I was like, and I see there's hundreds of knives, thousands of knives at these places, right? And this is the one thing shining like a diamond. just gleaming and glinting, and all the other knives are these dull colors and stuff like that. And then they had this gorgeous, glinting American flag knife. I had not seen one like this before. And here's what sold me on it. Okay. You open it up and look at this. It's got the "We the People," the Constitution engraved into the blade there. It's one of the most beautiful knives I've ever seen. So here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to offer it out to the audience. If someone wants to unlock the special message from Ukraine that we're going to be hearing from the front, if we raise $100 today, if someone donates $100 in one shot and just unlocks all the bonus content today, and does it as a one-time gift, not like, cumulatively. I guess if the same person does 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, okay, sure, fine. But if one person donates $100 today during the live show and just unlocks the bonus content as a gift to the For Liberty Network, I will send you this beautiful knife that you will be delighted to own, and you'll be the money will be going to a good cause, which is to support the ideas of economic freedom and personal liberty. I'm busting my hump over here trying to make the For Liberty Network work. I'm working late every night to make it happen for you, so that our country is a better place. And the symbol of our country on a gorgeous knife. This show. If we don't do it, then I'm just going to keep it, and that's going to be my sign. They make to keep it. Keep it. Okay. Good. There we go. Yeah, somebody said, I have one like that, but it's subdued. So yeah, that's the thing, is that normally the style is that the knives are they're kind of dark. This, if your buddy sees this, dude, I'm going to wear this. If you guys don't get it today, if somebody doesn't come in and just swipe it away from me, because I don't know where to find another one like this. If somebody doesn't swipe it away from me, I'm going to wear this thing on my belt. If you get it, people are going to see you wearing this, and they're going to go, wow, that thing is stinking gorgeous. Don't mess with that guy. He's got a knife. All right, so that's what it is. One shot it, the $100, either in Rumble Rants, or you can go to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Make the donation there, and if we get it during the live show, then you'll get the knife, as well as unlock all the bonus content. So, all right. The $100 bonus content, by the way, is an urgent dispatch from the front lines of Ukraine. He's Ambassador John Bolton's best friend, and his name is Gunny McCashburn, and he's got a message for you. If we hit that $100 mark, you will hear a communique from the front lines of the conflict between Vladimir Putin's Russia and Volodymyr Zelensky's Ukraine. We have a special message for you if we unlock that bonus content today. So make sure that you guys are strapped in, ready to rock. And we are going to hit you guys up with some excellent content today, excellent content tomorrow, and excellent content next week. All right, so buckle in. We've got Gavin Newsom's cosplay presidency, Biden's border blunder, Gen Z's gray zone, the mystery of old-looking men, and the ugly truth about America's schools. This is Wake Up America. I'm Austin Petersen. We're the scrappiest liberty show in the country, and we are just getting started. All right, let's dive in. Gavin Newsom, the fake Trump. Gavin Newsom wants to be the new Trump. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear new Trump, I don't kind of picture a guy with like an organic kale habit. The left is desperately trying to make Gavin Newsom happen. And honestly, they're not doing a bad job, because some of the memes have been quite funny. Now, before you get angry at me for displaying anything other than blatant partisanship, allow me to share with you an actual funny leftist meme. I've seen them in the wild sometimes. Here is an actual example. This is Gavin Newsom versus J.D. Vance in high school. Now, far be it from me to criticize anyone's youth, mirth. I would never want to steal someone's joy. But this is a picture of Gavin Newsom. He was voted best dressed or something. So, of course, he shows up looking like Kinnicky from Greece, wearing a Burberry scarf. And then you've got J.D. Vance over here with what appears to be like a faded glow stick around a lanyard. Is that what that is? Oh, maybe it's just like a school pass or something. Now, come on, guys. and they're standing in the men's bathroom, and he's there with two chicks, which, by the way, Based and Red Pill, guys, notice Gavin's face is in the news, and his head's in the newspaper. But look who's got the chicks lining up for him at the urinals. All right. It's kind of funny. But J.D. Vance in high school does look like the best buddy that you played Halo with. Now, Gavin Newsom, the attacks on Gavin Newsom have actually kind of worried me from Republicans these days, because some of the attacks on him have actually made him look cooler, because conservatives, as much as, you know, we have conservative impulses here, as much as there are a lot of conservatives probably who listen to this show, I think even especially the conservatives who listen to the show would probably understand that when it comes to coolness or TikTok videos or Instagram reels or things like that, being hip, I'm hip, I'm with it, conservatives do struggle with cool. If pee in your pants is cool, then consider me Miles Davis. Ooh, no. Guys, we struggle with that on the right, being cool. Well, I think conservatism is cool. So do I, Grandma. I love you. Give me a kiss. God bless American conservatives when they're being conservative. Gavin Newsom, not a conservative. Newsom is not trying to beat Trump by offering something better. He's actually trying to be Trump, all the way down to his tweets, copying the president's style. I find that to be funny. It's a good attempt to try and humorize himself and to make himself seem more relatable. You got to watch out. The guy, though, is a snake. He slept with his best friend's wife.
Thank you all for coming here on short notice. Want to make it clear that everything you've heard and read is true. And I am deeply sorry about that. I've hurt someone I care deeply about, Alex Turk, his friends and family. And that is something that I have to live with and something that I am deeply sorry for. I am also sorry that I've let the people of San Francisco down. They expect a lot of their mayor, and my personal lapse of judgment aside, I am committed to restoring their trust and confidence, and will work very hard in the upcoming months to make sure that the business of running the city is framed appropriately. I also want to extend a personal apology to everyone in our administration, to my staff that I just met with, to my friends and my family members.
I mean, pretty slick, but this is a man who wants to ban your ability to drive a gas car. I'm sorry, but no. This is a man who wants to tax you for daring to breathe. And now the grand strategy, the gerrymandering going on in California, that they're making it so that Republicans who make up a quarter of the state barely get a handful of seats in Congress. California has almost 6 million Republicans. So that is more Republicans than any other state in the union. But they get 9 out of 52 seats. Newsom wants to slash that down even further. And he's calling it payback for what's happening in Texas. It's more like voter theft on a grand scale. And let's get this. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who literally created California's independent redistricting commission, is calling Newsom out for this. Thank you, Arnie. When he said, "I'll be back," this is what he meant. Arnold posted himself in a t-shirt that said, "Terminate gerrymandering." And Arnold's right. The whole point was to stop politicians from carving up our maps like a butcher carves ribs. But Newsom doesn't care if the voters hate it, because he's not competing. He's not campaigning for Californians. He's auditioning for Democrats nationwide. He wants to be the one guy in 2028 who can look into the camera and say, "I fought Trump with Trump's own tactics." The problem is he doesn't really have Trump's humor. He doesn't have Trump's guts, and he sure as heck doesn't have Trump's voters. So, and then meanwhile, The big story, the thing that you really need to consider when you consider an attack on Gavin Newsom are topics like these.
In California, I left California because of Gavin Newsom's woke liberal leftist policies and how he ruined our great state. Many of my friends have left. My family has left. California is a failed experiment. And watching Gavin Newsom go on these podcasts like Sean Ryan and try to rebrand as someone with a great state and this great governor and this moderate guy infuriates me because it's so disingenuous. So let's debunk some of his propaganda.
The California exit, by the way, complete bullshit now. The last 2 years, we've seen significant growth in California's population, so it's reversed.
What he's not telling you, between 2020 and 2023, California lost 1.1 million residents, most of them going to red states. So he highlights this population growth, but in 2024, the population grew by 108,000 people. That's it. And how it grew is because he's focused on it's a net immigration growth. So he's importing people from different countries into his state to claim that there's no mass exodus. Because without immigration, California's population would be shrinking. Statistically, fact. So your long-term residents are still leaving, making the California exodus still true. Because what's happening is high-income earners and skilled workers are moving to states like Texas, Arizona, and Nevada. California has actually led the nation in domestic out-migration for 4 years in a row. So he's just manipulating statistics to try to make a point that he's a great governor. And if he was such a great governor, then why are people leaving? Why are 1.1 million people leaving? Why is there a mass exodus of residents that have actually lived in California for a long time?
I don't know, but thank you very much, young lady, for clearing that up for us. Californians are leaving. They're packing up U-Hauls faster than you could say state income tax. The state's losing so many people that it could drop 3 to 5 congressional seats entirely after the next census. So even if Newsom gerrymanders, if those trends continue, then the math is against him. So the truth is simple. Gavin Newsom isn't the new Trump. He's the new emperor with no clothes that cost $3,000 from Gucci. Wannabe strongman presiding over a collapsing state. And the more he pretends to be Trump, the more obvious it becomes he's actually anti-Trump. The Antichrist. Suck it off. Now, Ashley St. Clair is talking to the New York Post and she put out a podcast the other day. She's decided to start a podcast. Who's Ashley St. Clair? It's that little thoughty that Elon Musk knocked up last year, threw up all the drama on X. Everybody remembers this. And she's telling stories. She's dropping names, and she is going. If you're into scandal and gossip, then the Ashley St. Clair story has it all. Billionaires, secret babies, love child. And Ashley St. Clair this morning is making the press over on the New York Post. She's revealing her next move after a career suicide scandal. She's trashing big balls, which is disgusting. She's saying that Gavin Newsom is a Chad. Excuse me? Gavin Newsom is a Chad. I'm sorry, but I have to draw the line there. But maybe, you know what? Maybe I need to get a second opinion on this one. Maybe I need to ask, what are the bros saying about Gavin Newsom? What do the white right boys have to say about Gavin Newsom? They're trashing him as well, too, right?
My name's Governor Gavin Newsom.
Aryan. Look at this Aryan.
Look at this Aryan.
From the great
Patrick
state
Bateman.
of Nancy
Patrick
Pelosi.
Bateman. That's what Ashley St. Clair was saying.
I come from a state like our nation of dreamers, of doers, of entrepreneurs, of innovators that prides itself on being on the leading and cutting edge of new
That's
ideas.
Bone.
California is the most diverse state in the world's most diverse democracy.
Chad Gavin Newsom.
We pride ourselves.
Chad Gavin
we pride
Newsom.
ourselves in our
Okay,
ability to live
interesting.
together and advance together and prosper together across every conceivable and imaginable difference. But the thing we pride ourselves most on is that we believe the future.
If you don't
happens
like
in
Gavin
California
Newsom,
first.
you're kind of like gay. I just don't know what to tell you. Like, if you look at a handsome, sociopathic, tall white man who like clearly has contempt for like those around him, and you don't like him because he's a Democrat, well, but he's a Democrat. Like, there's something wrong with you. I don't know what else to say.
Okay, so wait a minute. What was that Nick was saying?
I just don't know what to tell you. Like, if you look at a handsome, sociopathic, tall white man who like clearly has contempt for,
If you look at a handsome, tall, sociopathic white man who clearly has contempt for those around him,
like those around him, and you don't like him because he's a Democrat, well, but he's a Democrat. Like, there's something wrong with you. I don't know what else to say.
no, I don't like it because he fiddles while California burns. Because he's turned the land of opportunity into the land of crime and death. It's nice to see Steelbringer over there saying the woke right always votes left because it's a scam.
But he's not a Republican.
For criminal justice, racial
He may be
justice,
tall,
economic
white,
justice,
handsome,
social
sociopathic with a
justice.
beautiful
I
white
saw
family
that
and
star
rich. But he's
Well, at least he's tall. At least he's handsome. At least he has a family. Nick.
not a Republican. Like,
as Attorney General
I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're
as a United
retarded.
States Senator.
You are
and as
gay.
Vice
I don't know what to
President of the
say.
United States of America.
But he's a
Kamala
Democrat.
Harris
Okay, and
has always done the right thing.
you know, people say they're like white nationalists, and then they look at a like successful white guy, and they're like, but he's a Democrat. Like, okay, so you're the worst white nationalist
So
ever.
Democrats.
You're the
Hey, good point, Nick. That's why I posted yesterday on my Instagram. I posted a poll. If you had to choose the future of America, would it look like Gavin Newsom or would it look like Vivek Ramaswamy? Voting now. If I had to choose the future of America, it would look like Gavin Newsom or Vivek Ramaswamy. All right, I'm putting that as a poll right now on X. Vivek or Gavin Newsom. Let's see. Let's do a racism test this morning. You guys ready? Doing it live. California love. Do, 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 do. Hey, Steelbringer, thanks so much for starting the bonus content unlock today. We've raised $5 towards the $75 and $100 bonus content goals. Today only, I'm doing a special promotion. If someone decides to one-shot the bonus content today, if someone decides to donate a $100 donation at once, they will get this beautiful knife that I am hoping to keep a little bit. But I will gladly give it to the next donor to the For Liberty Network. Anyone who decides to do a one-shot and unlock both bonus contents today is going to get this gorgeous American flag knife that has the Constitution engraved into the blade. I showed this to a few of my friends, and people were like, oh my God, that thing is beautiful. And if you guys don't get it, I'll be wearing it on my belt buckle. So consider donating to the For Liberty Network today. You can do so either in Rumble Rants, or you can go to forlibertyshop.com, and if you make a purchase that totals over $100, I will consider that bonus content unlock as well. You'll get the knife. So thank you so much to everybody who is supporting the Wake Up America show in total, of course. Otherwise, keep those little Rumble rants rolling in, and once we hit $75, you'll unlock today's mini documentary, which is about California as well. And the recent court decision that struck down the amount of guns you're allowed to purchase, the amount of guns that you're allowed to purchase in California. So that's the mini documentary. And then at $100, we actually have an urgent message from the front of the war between Ukraine and Russia. And that conflict is looking like it may potentially wind down with the president having high-level meetings with Vladimir Zelensky yesterday in Washington, D.C., and Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky sat down to talk about these important issues in a 20-second clip that I have here.
President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit. I said the same thing. Yeah, you look good. I said the same thing. Yeah, looks good. I said the one that attacked you last time. See, that was, I remember that. Yeah, I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit.
Pretty good, Vladimir. J.D. Vance is sitting there on the side, like ready to beat his ass. I heard they sent him on vacation recently when they were supposed to be a meeting with Zelensky. Thanks so much to everybody who's supporting the Wake Up America show. Don't forget, too, you can communicate with me at that number that you see at the bottom of the screen, 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586 is the text line. And like I said today, if we hit the $100 bonus content level by the end of the show, we have an urgent message from John Bolton's best friend, Gunny McCashburn, over in Ukraine, and he's going to be reporting from the front if we manage to hit that unlock. So head to the Liberty Shop or make some Rumble rants, and let's get it on.
Pushed out on social media about doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you expand on that and how important?
Well, that's a very off-topic. Just really quickly, mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses them because of what's happened. Massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections. We'd get much faster results. The machines, I mean, they say we're going to have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, but most people, many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter.
Honestly, sounds good to me. What do you guys think? Would love to hear your thoughts on this one. Drop your comments in the chat. Do you think that mail-in voting should be done away with? Why or why not? Some people say it's more efficient. Other people say it's less secure. That's the debate. I honestly think that it's probably better to just go back to in-person voting with a paper ballot. But some people think that it needs to be more efficient. And we've got to get people in as quickly as possible so that everybody has a chance to vote. But I wonder if you have a strong opinion about that. It's nice to see Dos Beckys over there in the chat. Hi, guys. We've got Camelia Petersen 20 minutes from now. At 8:30, we've got Corey DeAngelis to talk about crimes that are occurring in our public school system, not just the school system itself. We're talking about Gavin Newsom this morning and his plan to scrap California's Independent Redistricting Commission to hand the power back to Democrats. California has 5.8 million registered Republicans, 25% of all voters in California, but they have 9 out of 52 congressional seats. Newsom's plan would cut the GOP representation by another 5 seats. A recent Politico poll showed that 2/3 of California oppose his plan. Democracy. What a joke. We don't need that. Thank you to Y2 Joe, says, let's unlock that bonus content. Well, we're on our way, bud. And says, mail-in ballots should be done away with, but not via executive order. It won't stand up in court. There's the man who's read the plan for how this country ought to work. We've raised $7 towards the $75 and $100 bonus goals, guys. Thank you. So Newsom has been saying he's the new Trump. That's kind of like me saying that I'm the new LeBron James because I bought a basketball. California's redistricting plan is So unfair. Even Putin called and said, tone it down. California's motto used to be the Golden State, but under Newsom, it's now leaving California, next rest stop, Texas. U-Haul's not available. So some questions for the audience. Should one party be allowed to redraw maps to wipe out the opposition? Do you think Newsom is auditioning for president, maybe protecting his California cronies? Or would you rather have Trump hardball style politics that expand liberty, or Newsom style that shrinks it? How do you feel about Arnold Schwarzenegger stepping back into the fight? Do you think that he still carries weight with voters, or his time passed? And last question, do you think California is a warning sign for the rest of America, or is it already too far gone? So when you hear Gavin Newsom bragging about being the new Trump, remember the guy is running California into the ground. He's auditioning for a job that he will never get. He's not the new Trump. He's just the same old Newsom. He's a slick salesman. He's peddling the same broken California model that Americans have already rejected. Don't buy the product. Maybe you'll buy from my next guest.
He wants a Nobel Peace Prize, and he wants it now. So he's willing to say a lot of things. He didn't really commit to anything. Trump wants to rush. He clearly has an objective, which is the Nobel Peace Prize. He wants to position Zelensky as the obstacle to peace because he knows that what's on Trump's mind is the Nobel Peace Prize. He wants a Nobel Peace Prize.
Who cares, John? God dang, Ambassador. Ambassador John Bolton deeply concerned that the war in Ukraine might be ending. And so is our guest later today, who's going to be reporting to us, if we unlock the bonus content, from the front lines of the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. Gunny McCashburn and John Bolton go way back. Well, Gunny is out there fighting like crazy as a mercenary soldier for Ukraine. As a captain, he's out there right now live from the field, and if we get a chance to unlock the bonus content, we'll be able to get a secure transmission from Gunny McCashburn to talk to us about the perils of ending the war in Ukraine and Russia too early, and the perils of Donald Trump maybe being able to achieve getting the Nobel Peace Prize. Love to hear your thoughts about that. Thormok says, funny, Trump is the only one not carrying on about the Nobel Peace Prize. I've noticed that as well. So, all right. So before we move on, a quick word, guys. If you guys want a job in politics, campaigns are hiring right now. They've got field organizers, media consultants, tons of jobs available to take our country back at campaignjobsnow.com/apply. Don't just complain about politics. Get paid to change it. When I told Stephanie about this opportunity for people to go work in politics proper and to cut their teeth on a campaign and to work for people that they're ideologically aligned with, she was shocked at the amount of money that they were paying people to work. You know why? It's surprising how few people really do want to have to work hard in this country. It's surprising. That's why it was this whole deal over last year when Vivek Ramaswamy was talking about Americans. It's hard to find Americans who work hard. Thank God for Brad Beckman, man. It was hard to find Brad Beckman. It's hard to find someone who will be able to do a good job for you. And that's why campaignjobsnow.com/apply is paying high wages, because they know that's what it's going to take to get people out there and to motivate them to go and work hard. But working in politics too, wouldn't you already be a little bit motivated? Well, if you're going to get great pay and you can work with a campaign that you're ideologically aligned with, then visit campaignjobsnow.com/apply. Don't just complain about politics. Get paid to change it. All right, up next, we're going to go to Florida. This is a story that's been sitting around for a couple of days, and I was letting it sit while I did my homework on this one. But this is a video. I just want you to know that what you're about to see witness ends in the death of 3 Americans. Just a moment. I'll play this clip, but I just want to give you a moment to note that what you're about to witness is a violent crash involving an illegal immigrant who came here to the United States And now, because of their lack of care for others, 3 people are now dead. Take a look. That was the moment right there. 3 people gone, a life, 3 lives, and maybe hundreds more altered drastically forever. An illegal U-turn. 3 Americans are dead because Washington, D.C., California, Gavin Newsom style policies put an illegal migrant behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler. This man's name is Harjinder Singh. He crossed the border illegally in 2018. Trump's Department of Homeland Security put him on the fast track for deportation, but he pulled the magic card, claimed he was afraid to go home, and suddenly he's out on bond. Now, under Trump, Singh's work permit was denied, but in 2021, Biden's DHS came along and said, come on in, pal, here's your papers. California then took those Biden papers, handed him a commercial driver's license, a CDL, and look at the result. Last week, Singh makes a rogue U-turn on a Florida highway, blocks every lane, and 3 innocent people in a minivan slam full speed into his trailer. They were killed instantly. Families destroyed forever. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And the video is chilling, not just because what we're watching the deaths of 3 people, not just personally for me, because as a minivan driver to see something like this happen, you instantly think it's right. This could be me, Steffi, and baby Hazel. Right? This could be us. But the thing I find most chilling about this is the lack of remorse that you can see in the man's face. He barely blinks. He just casually watches it happen. Boom. There it is. 3 people's lives snuffed out, extinguished. And how are we reacting to this? Yep. Doesn't even care. Look at him now. What am I going to do? This is the cost of sanctuary states. This is the cost of open borders. It's not just statistics or talking points or white papers, right? These are mothers, fathers, children, neighbors gone because Joe Biden wanted to look compassionate. They couldn't do an ounce of background on the guy. And because Gavin Newsom wants to play president of California, Washington, D.C. wanted to pretend that border security is racist. In the United States, it is the job of the government to protect us from these kinds of people coming into our country illegally, gaining access to heavy equipment, machinery, and bringing their obviously distinctly Eastern ideals of morals and ethics to the United States in a deadly fashion. I saw a post, my buddy Jeremy Kaufman, he gets no end of hell from people. Some of the stuff he says, I find a little out there. But one thing that he pointed out the other day, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it right away. He posts a lot. See if I can find a picture of this. One of the major differences, here it is, between the East and the United States. Jeremy Kaufman posted this photograph. This is a picture of traffic in the United States. And Jeremy, this is how Jeremy put this. Traffic is a perfect system for understanding immigration. Being a polite driver is not self-interested behavior. One can go a bit faster by being antisocial. We all know this. Every once in a while, someone will be antisocial on the roads and will act in an antisocial way, all the way up to road rage, of course. But there's going to be somebody who's going to zoom past you because they don't care about anybody else or what's happening in the rest of the world. They're the main character in the game, right? In much of the world, though, traffic looks like this because most people Jeremy writes, will not personally sacrifice to maintain a pro-social system. America's traffic systems, our parks, our common areas, our jury trials, and much of what is special about Western society rests on this type of pro-social altruism. Non-kin fairness, being fair to people who are not in your family. Jeremy says, when a population falls too low on this attribute, non-kin fairness, everything decent falls apart. These are the alleged semi-truck drivers who killed 3 people while making a U-turn at an official use only turn on the Florida Turnpike. The Florida Highway Patrol is describing this wreck as a homicide investigation. Zing crossed the border illegally in 2018 and processed for deportation under Trump. But he was not returned to India. He was released on bond in 2019. Trump denied him a work bond in 2020. And then Biden granted him a permit in 2021. With that permit, Zing secured a California commercial driver's license under Gavin Newsom. Unbelievable. Under Trump, Zing denied a work permit. Biden, he gets a CDL. Under Newsom, he probably qualifies for a Tesla rebate. Terrible. If Zing claimed he was afraid of climate change, Newsom would have made him head of Caltrans. Biden's border policy is like an Oprah giveaway. You get a work permit. You get a work permit. You get a work permit. Everybody gets a work permit. Zing calmly shut the truck off after the crash. Probably thought, don't worry, Gavin's got my back. Welcome to the Wake Up America Show. I'm your host, Austin Petersen. And we are so glad and thankful to have you here joining us live today. We've got bonus content that unlocks at a $75 and $100 level. The $75 is the mini documentary. If you want to hear about California gun laws being overturned, we've got a mini documentary for you to watch. It's much more fun, much more interesting than commercials. But of course, our commercials are fun and fairly interesting, I hope, as well, too. You'll get to watch those as we go to Camellia here. She'll be here in less than 5 minutes. But at the $100 level today, if we unlock it in a one shot, I don't know if we'll do that. But if we do, then if somebody donates $100 to a Rumble rant today, they're going to get my knife, which is a beautiful Superman shiny American flag knife, and it's got the We the People U.S. Constitution etched into the blade. Absolutely gorgeous. So you'll get my knife if somebody one-shots us with a $100 donation. That will unlock all the bonus content, and you'll get my knife. Sound cool? All right. Camellia Petersen here to talk about, it's not gay, it's not straight, it's a gray area. What the hell? What are you talking about, AP? You'll find out. You'll have to stick around. We'll be here with Camellia Petersen when we get back. It's the Wake Up America Show on the 4 Liberty Network.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If if there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
When the Founding Fathers dreamed of liberty, they forgot one thing: coffee. Introducing Founding Flavors Coffee, the brew that built America, and the brew that's fueling a new revolution, one kitchen at a time. Small batch roasted, Patriot approved, and disappearing faster than a red coat at Yorktown. Don't get left behind, soldier. Real patriots are starting their mornings with Founding Flavors, and trust us, freedom tastes better with a fresh cup in your hand. Stop drinking those tyrant brews who take your money and don't support your values. Stocks are limited, demand is booming, and your morning deserves a taste of liberty. Order now at forlibertyshop.com before the next shipment gets signed, sealed, and sold out. Founding Flavors Coffee, the official brew of morning rebellions everywhere. Get yours at forlibertyshop.com. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. All right, guys, it's time for the culture stuff. Gen Z has invented a brand new identity. Not gay. It's not gay. It's not straight either. It's not asexual. It's graysexual. Attraction but sometimes, inconsistently, or when the moon is in retrograde, I guess. Also known as marriage. I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about... Well, you guys ever look at your dad's high school photo and it looked like he was applying for a mortgage, right? Yearbook seniors in the 1970s, and they look like full-grown accountants. Even Buddy Holly was 20 years old, and he looked like he was a professor. Meanwhile, today you got 30-year-olds running around in SpongeBob pajamas, making TikToks about being graysexual. Joining us now, Rub On Yourself. What is that?
Yeah, no, not that kind, not ALOE.
Oh, okay, all right. Good to know.
ALLO. Like, I don't know, that's somewhere in here, and I'm like, there's so many different ones. I'm like, which one? What did that one mean? Like, I can't keep it straight. No, and apparently, you know, there's some of these labels, you know, have been around as early as 2006, and you know, Y2K, I think, did something to us. Actually, it just wasn't in the digital space.
So explain it to us, though. I mean, how are they describing it as such?
I mean, it just feels like they're trying to come up with a term for like not being in the mood constantly. And, you know, so they've got to have a different label for it all the time. So this graysexual just means like they're not always attracted to somebody, just sometimes and under the right circumstances. And I'm thinking, like, isn't that kind of normal? So it is like, it's just another label for, I guess they think the expectation is that they should be turned on and attracted to somebody like all of the time, 100% of the time. And then sometimes they're just not feeling it. So they need a way to explain that somehow. I mean, I was reading through all of these people talking about their experiences and how they think it's so different from everyone else. And maybe because we have seen so much hypersexualized content online, I don't know why they think this way. But I'm also just thinking, like, have you ever considered that you maybe should go to the doctor and kind of get your hormones checked out? Because a lot of this is like, you know, biology here.
Is there a cultural immaturity at play here with Gen Z? Because we're going to use this to cross over to another topic, the one that I set up before. But do you think that we're more and more, each generation is in a state of perpetual adolescence?
Maybe, but I think the millennials started it. Like, I mean...
Guilty.
That's right, they did.
Guilty as charged.
So, I mean... Millennials started it. They completely set up Gen Z and Gen. Although I actually kind of think we're going to see Gen Alpha rebel against this and say, "You guys are just nuts. Stop."
Well, all right. So, you know, do you think that this is entirely a creation? Is this like a Chinese culture jam that's coming through TikTok? Is this due to social media, or do you think it's something that, you know, that might have existed organically outside of the internet?
I think that the feelings that people have and the answers that they are searching for have always existed. Like, I don't think that what they are experiencing is necessarily anything new. I do think that, and this is probably exacerbated by the digital age, is that there is this incessant need to have a label for everything and to stick yourself into a box, right? And explain every little thing. And it reminds me too, you know, like, people, I think it's an innate human thing to want to have an explanation, right, for all of the things that you don't understand. And so I think that we've so hyper-examined like every part of human behavior when you talk about where we've come with psychology and Freud and all of this nonsense, right? There's this need to like overanalyze everything. And so it has become like, I mean, we've talked about this before, it's become a fad in a lot of ways to have these labels for some sort of mental illness or some sort of psychological problem or diagnosis. I mean, like, it's even become cool in a lot of circles, like, to have a little autism, right? I mean, like, you don't have autism, you're just weird.
It's not that cool, though. Camellia, have you ever smoked a cigarette?
No, never had the desire to.
Never tried it?
No, it
Really?
just was like, I don't know,
Not
like
even
that. It
one
would have,
puff.
no, just would have never sounded appealing, like at all.
Okay, well then, do you remember when cars used to have ashtrays in them?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how everybody used to smoke, and this was just
Right.
normal. More people smoked than didn't smoke.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it was uncommon. Everything smelled really bad, and everybody looked really old.
The power of advertising, man. I tell you what, people are gullible.
Yes. Yes, they are. Absolutely. But not on the Wake Up America show. They're smart shoppers when they go to the gift shop. Camellia, I'm loving this story that I'm reading. It's spawned with a meme. It turned into a full-blown scientific investigation online of finding out why it is that older generations, when they were the same age as your teenagers, or 18 or 19, or as your kids, why they look like they were 40 years old. I know you don't watch a lot of pop culture, but there was this show in the 1980s called Cheers. And
I watched Cheers.
Oh, you watched Cheers. Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. I guess that was one of the shows that played on the 4 channels that you would have gotten out in the woods. So, but everybody in that show was in like their late 20s, early 30s, but they all look like they're 40s or 50s. Turns out it's a real phenomenon. Have you noticed this?
Yes, and I have seen this popping up more lately where they're like, this was, Jane Fonda or this person or that person, like when they were in their 20s. And it's like, it is true. Like everybody through the 80s, when you look at, media and movies and TV, they look way older than people the same age right now. And I mean, like, I know that, there's a lot of talk about how men especially look older, but it's actually really true for women too. I mean, there are women who were on TV shows, and they were supposed to be playing a character that was in their 40s, and they look like your grandma now. Like it is a very real phenomenon. Like it's a real thing.
Well, my reason for asking the question about smoking cigarettes is I think a lot of it has to do with the smoking habits, because
Yes.
it was extremely common to find. I mean, and mothers, I remember moms used to smoke in the cars with their kids.
Right.
It used to be a common scenario. You'd go to the local McDonald's in Raymore or Belton, 1989. They'd be like, speaking back to their kids, what do you want, Red? What do you want? And of course, people died early. Life expectancy up. Alcohol drinking with young people is down. Smoking is starting to get pared out. People, even when they ingest things like cannabis, they're doing it with edibles, right? They're not even, some of them might be vaping, but for a lot of these people, they're eating chocolate or something like that. So in part, we are kind of taking better care of our bodies to a certain extent. We're maybe making America healthy again.
Sure, I think so. I mean, I was thinking about this because it's really true that through the 70s and 80s, people did look older. But when you talk about the 50s advertising and the images and pictures that you saw, it was not necessarily the case then. And I really do think that you can chalk a lot of it up to smoking, but also the use of sunscreen and just how much people are out in the sun. It was, in the sexual revolution of the 60s and nude beaches and everybody was outside getting all of the sun that they could, and they were using suntan oil. You didn't want any of that sunscreen stuff because you wanted to be as brown as you could get. And so with all, I think it's a combination of all of those things that people just got a lot more sun exposure. And before that, a lot of times people really covered up when they went out in the sun. Now, whether that was for, whether they thought it was immoral for women to wear swimsuits or whatever the reason was, people just tended to cover up more out in the sun. It's and people who had to be out in the sun for practical reasons, if you talked to farmers from back in the 50s, 60s or whatever, they're not going out there shirtless and working most of the time. They're actually a lot of the times wearing long sleeves because there was a lot of value to protecting themselves from the sun. So I do think that a lot of the lifestyle changes that came about in the 60s, 70s, 80s really led to people looking older for some very, biological, physical reasons. And like skincare now is more of a thing with men, as well as women. But people, I just think, are taking better care of themselves.
Camelia, were you shocked to see our friend Scott Fawn getting the scoop yesterday on everybody on the story of Missouri's Attorney General Andrew Bailey leaving Missouri to go to Washington, D.C.? And if that wasn't, I don't know, just groundbreaking news in itself, he's going to be the co-deputy director of the FBI. Now, when I thought about it, it took me all of 3 seconds to put that together. Co-deputy director of the FBI, which means we already have a deputy director of the FBI. Oh, that's Dan Bongino. Uh-oh, what the hell's going on?
So, okay, funny enough, I was in Jeff City yesterday for lunch with Scott, and he had said he was going to be breaking news, but that was not the news I was expecting. So that was a surprise. It doesn't surprise me that Scott had the inside track on it, but I do think that it was the part that I think was a surprise to a lot of people that maybe wasn't as known was this co-director bit. Because the assumption was that after all of the trouble with Bongino and the Epstein files and him pushing back, right, and all this kind of stuff, and he was clearly unhappy with the way things were going. Like, I was like, okay, well, Bongino is out, right? And Bailey is in. And this is, I think people have really mixed views about Andrew Bailey going to the Trump administration. Like, first of all, like, co-director is a little weird. Like, I don't know, like, what is that, do we normally do that? Like, what do they do? Anyway, so be Bailey and Bongino, or Bongino and Bailey's, the BBs as co-directors, but...
I don't think that's going to work because...
I can't, it's such an odd pairing.
When has that ever worked? It's like having 50 vice presidents, right? If everybody's vice president, nobody's vice president. And
right.
You're essential, and you're also making it less efficient, right? You're kind of creating another layer of administration to go through in order to get things done. But I think it shows a lack of trust that the Trump administration has in Dan Bongino, which is sad, strange, and it appears to be, which is even more concerning, it appears to be allegedly because of the Epstein files.
Yeah, I think that the thing that disappoints some people and is a little baffling. I think it's pretty hard for anyone to turn down an opportunity to serve in the president's administration, right, in some capacity. But the reality is like, particularly in the Trump administration, and it doesn't matter how much you like Trump or not, like, this is just a reality that we've seen play out over and over again. Like, you are playing with fire if you take a position in the Trump administration, because you just never know, like, what you're going to be asked to do, and like when on a whim you are going to be out of favor and you are out. And the thing is, with Andrew Bailey as Attorney General here in Missouri, like, his rise has been just meteoric. And he's extraordinarily talented. People very often talk about him as the next governor of Missouri. And so, there are a lot of people who are disappointed because, once you go to DC, a lot of people tend to get swallowed up in the DC swamp and they stay there. Like, they don't really usually come back home. And so, there are other positions that he would have. Maybe he could be Attorney General eventually, for the United States. But I think that there's just, for as well as he was doing here in the state with the future that was ahead of him, it's a little bit surprising, to take that kind of risk. But he obviously, made those calculations and decided that it was worth it. And time will tell. There are a few people who do it and make it work. And I think Senator Schmidt is one of those people, but there's, we got 3 years yet to go.
Do you think that Bongino is going to last very long?
I don't think so. Maybe this is a way of easing him out, right? Maybe, so I heard somebody say this morning they'd be surprised if he lasted until Thanksgiving. And I think that that's reasonable to assume.
Well, the good news is that the views on Rumble are going to go back up. Honestly, it was a big deal when he left.
Really?
Yeah, it really it wiped out a lot of the activity on the platform because a lot of we did pick up of new viewers from Dan Bongino's audience, but there were a lot of people who just when Dan Bongino left, they left the platform, so it kind of brought down overall. You could see like a numbers drop because Dan Bongino wasn't there. So hey, Dan Bongino, welcome back. I say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it does mean that there's going to be a pitched battle here in Missouri over who the next attorney general will be, and that'll be selected by Mike Kehoe.
Yeah. This morning at 10 o'clock, we will know. We kind of we kind of know who it's going to be already, but the official announcement will be made at 10.
Who's it going to be?
So it is thought that it will be Catherine Hanaway, who was the first woman Speaker of the House back in 2012. I believe. She was Speaker, I think, when Missouri flipped the legislature red. And then, so I mean, like if she gets this, then she would also be the first woman Attorney General in Missouri too. So not that any of that matters to me, but
I'm sure it does.
So it will be lauded, of course. She's very, I listened to a podcast that she did here a year or so ago, and it was really excellent. The lessons that she learned from being nothing related to being as a woman, just being the Speaker of the House and the people that you have to work with. And one of the things that she said that I try to remember is that she spent too much time trying to persuade the unpersuadable. And I was like, I feel that. Like sometimes you just have to quit trying with people, right? Because it's not going to work.
Catherine was born in Nebraska. She spent the rest of her childhood growing up in rural Nebraska and Iowa. She received a marksman first class certificate from the NRA in 7th grade and was president of her 4-H club in high school. She went to the University of Missouri. She got a Bachelor of Science in Journalism from Creighton, graduated top 10% of her law class from the Catholic University of America. Interesting. So, yeah, she is
brilliant, very successful, as a lawyer and many other things in her own right. So this is, this actually will probably in some ways be like somewhat limiting for her to take public office, with all the other success and opportunities that she has. So I expect that's who we will hear when the governor announces it.
Yeah. So after leaving office as a U.S. attorney, she worked for the Ashcroft Group. And she had it was reported by Missouri Lawyers Weekly. She reportedly charged the highest hourly rate of any lawyer in Missouri. $793 an hour. Oh my God. Can you imagine? She served as trustee at Washington University in St. Louis, currently a partner with the law firm Hush Blackwell, lives in St. Louis with her husband and 2 children, Lucy and Jack. Honestly, seems like a pretty nice lady.
The some of the grassroots will not be thrilled.
They never are.
Catherine also ran for governor. Boy, this is back in, I think, 2016. So I don't know if you remember any of that, but there were several people in that race that are folks that we know. And so she was ultimately unsuccessful in that. But it was a contentious, hard-fought race in which I believe Eric Greitens came out on top.
Yes, as we all know, the infamous Eric Greitens. Hey, Camelia, you're the best that there ever is. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, you join us here live like a good soldier. State Farm is there with Camelia at 8 a.m. Central, at 8 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Camelia, is there anything else that you want to share with our audience before we let you go today?
Well, I will remember to tell you to be sure and follow me on Twitter, Twitter, whatever, X. Thank you, Rare Camellia. And so that's my favorite platform. Although these days I do a little posting on Facebook just to stir the pot, because I know that's that's where some of the people are that I need to poke once in a while. But I like to have my social media is a little bit eclectic, right? And it's a little bit snarky. And, so I think the thing that most recently resonated with people was, would that we all had enough or as many friends as someone who gets appointed to a federal office, because everybody and their brother is now online saying, my good friend, Andrew Bailey.
Oh, yes. That's right. Success has 1,000 fathers. And failure is an orphan. Thanks, Camellia.
Yeah. Have a great day, everyone.
That one doesn't work on radio, only on video shows, video podcasts like this. MSNBC's rebrand invites bemusement and ridicule, writes the New York Times. Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. Bye-bye, MSNBC. Hello, MS Now. They became the subject of mockery after it was announced yesterday. Bye-bye, MSNBC. Hello, MS Now. Yes, thank you, Y2Joe. Nice to see everybody in the chat today. The show is 90 minutes in, and we've raised $7 towards the $75 to $100 bonus goal today, guys. I'm nervous. I don't know if we're going to unlock it. To be quite honest, I think there's a chance we might not hit the bonus in like forever. Is it me? Am I doing too much? Is there something wrong with the Wake Up America show? Am I working too hard? Is it just like Austin? You want it too much. You're trying to succeed. You've gone too far with the Wake Up America show. You can unlock the bonus content so easily if you head to the Griff Shop at thegriffshop.com. We call it the Liberty Shop, the Griff Shop, as a joke, of course. Head to the Liberty Shop this morning, grab yourself some merch, and if we hit $100 raised on the show, you're going to hear a secret message from John Bolton's best friend fighting on the front lines of the war in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. We've got about 30 minutes to go, and we have another guest who will be joining us here in just a few minutes. We'll be speaking to Corey DeAngelis about the crimes occurring in American public schools. You don't want to miss that. But if we hit $75 raised, that will unlock the first phase of the bonus content, which is our mini documentary that we have for you about the court striking down California's limit on the number of guns that can be purchased. Thank you, Y2Joe. We appreciate you, bud. Get in there and gin everybody up in the chat. Let them know to drop some Rumble rants if they haven't already, or go to the Liberty Shop and hit that what Camellia says, buy your wife, girlfriend, mother some of the We the People earrings. She got more compliments wearing those than any others all the time. Yes, We the People earrings at the Liberty Shop. Go to the shop, type into the search earrings. There we are. And you'll see all her sweet little Liberty earrings. And Camellia was, when we saw her at the state fair on Saturday, she had on the We the People earrings. There you can see them on the second page there. We've also got Missouri ones. Those would have been cute ones too to wear. We the People earrings available at forlibertyshop.com. And my suggestion to you is Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. That you buy these early and just stock them away, because you never know. Sometimes like you get in trouble with your wife and you want to have a nice little gift. Later you want a little bit of loving. So just go and grab those earrings out. And you know what? Problem solved. Headache goes away. Yeah, we have Missouri earrings, little earrings, Missouri ones cut out. So we've raised about $7 towards the bonus content today, which means I think there's a chance we might not make it. That always makes me and Steffi nervous when we don't do it, because we're always saying to ourselves, all right, we hit the bonus content goal every day. We know that the Wake Up America show will survive to the next month. So if you'd like to see Brad stay employed and me stay fun employed, head to the Liberty Shop this morning at forlibertyshop.com or make those Rumble Rants. If somebody donates a $100 bill, either in Rumble Rants or at wakeupamericashow.com, they're going to win my knife that I got at the state fair this weekend. Beautiful. And it has the U.S. Constitution engraved into the blade. It's the most beautiful knife I've ever seen. I had to have it, but it can be yours. I will part with it today if somebody's just like, boop, $100, and that will unlock all of the extra good stuff. All right, Corey D'Angelo is going to be joining us live, but it's sad because it's commercials for you until we unlock the bonus content, which I think we might actually pull it off, even though we haven't raised much and we've got 30 minutes left to go. We'll be right back with our friend Corey D'Angelo to talk about the millions of crimes occurring in our public school system. We'll talk about that when we get back on the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network.
Picture this. It's 1776. Thomas Jefferson is hunched over his desk at Monticello, ink-stained fingers, writing the most radical document in human history. Do you really think he was sipping Starbucks? No. He was drinking something bold, something black, something brewed strong enough to fuel a revolution. That's the spirit behind Founding Flavors, our signature line of liberty-fueled coffee. No soy froth, no climate guilt, no corporate slogans. Just real coffee, inspired by the men who wrote freedom into existence. Every cup is a quiet protest. Against mediocrity, against tyranny, against bad coffee. So this morning, skip the globalist brew. Grab something worthy of a free man's sunrise. Founding Flavors. Now brewing at forlibertyshop.com. Imagine bringing greatness. The Gulf of America.
Thanks for joining us. I had no idea about this story until you brought it to my attention. 1.3 million reported crimes, Corey?
Yeah, it's a ton, but you're right, Austin. It's probably an undercount. It's almost certainly an undercount because, as the FBI admitted, only about half of the law enforcement agencies in the country actually reported data to them. So if we extrapolate that out, it could actually be up to twice as many crimes. And then we all know that the public school system, Austin, sweeps things under the rug. So they don't report all the crimes. But so, yeah, I mean, regardless, 1.3 million crimes is a ton. These are violent failure factories, not public schools. And Michael Malice, our buddy, put it best that public schools are prisons for children and one of the only places in their lives that they'll ever experience violence. And if you think back to the public school days, you probably remember a lot of violence. Over 500,000 of these 1.3 million instances of crimes were physical assaults, showing you that these are war zones. These public schools are battlegrounds for children who don't want to be there. I mean, their families have no recourse, especially low-income ones. If you want to go somewhere else, you're screwed. You have to pay twice if you don't have school choice in your area. So I think this is a great argument for school choice, because when you ask families why they choose alternatives to the government school system consistently on surveys, and if you ask your friends, their main concern is they want their kid to be in a safe place. And so one of the studies on this, the most recent experimental evaluation from Washington, D.C., they actually have a voucher program that was passed by Congress. They found that winning a lottery to go to a private school using a scholarship increased the likelihood that children said they were in a very safe school by 34%. And guess what? The scholarship was only $10,000 on average, about a third of what they spend in those DC government failure factories that we call public schools. So look, this hits at the surface, Austin. There's also a lot of sex abuse in schools. There's a sexual abuse epidemic in the government school system today. In 2004, there was a Department of Education report that estimated that about 1 in 10 kids in America would experience sexual misconduct by the educators themselves by the time that they graduated from high school. And you might say, hey, that's 2 decades ago. Well, there's a more recent study from 2023. It was reported on by Psychology Today, a peer-reviewed evaluation, and they found it's actually a little bit worse than that. They estimated that about 12% of kids had reported educator sexual misconduct throughout their K through 12 years. So there's an epidemic. We need school choice to go somewhere else, but that's not the only solution. We need to hold these people accountable in the government school system. And my home state of Texas passed a bill to do that this year. Representative Mitch Little, a Republican, Abbott signed the bill this year. What it did was abolish immunity for public schools and their employees in sex abuse cases. Why the hell did they have immunity in the first place? So these are questions that parents should be asking, and this is a model that all other states should follow too. Let's protect the kids and give them options at the same time.
Corey DeAngelis, you are a bulldog on this issue.
Thank you. I'm gonna add that to my my bio. I'm updating the CV. Thanks.
You are the proverbial pit bull in a room full of toddlers, and you're hungry.
Well, Austin, I mean, the reason we're winning so much on school choice right now is because the toddlers that argue against school choice and fight for the status quo, the unions, they've been so drunk on power for so long, they haven't had to really deal with any legitimate arguments against them. And so they've always just been able to flex their union muscle, which if you look at some of them, they need to get into the gym. They don't have much muscle. But in terms of boots on the ground and funding, I mean, they can basically extort taxpayer money and use it to lobby against the taxpayer. It's why even FDR understood that public sector unions are a cancer on society. They should be abolished entirely. But if we can't do that, we need to defund them and dismantle them. School choice is one way to do that. But we should also tell the teachers who are not in line with Randy Weingarten and Becky Pringle, they need to vote with their feet away from the unions too, because they can now. After the Supreme Court case in 2018, the Janus decision, public sector unions can no longer mandate that employees pay dues. Even if you're in a blue state like Illinois or New York or California, you can no longer be forced to join your union and pay dues as a condition of employment. And so what are they going to do? I mean, they might be upset with you and they might look at you funny, but band together with other union members. And there's now a new group that's offering free liability insurance. The unions are charging $1,000 a year for these membership dues. You can stop funneling these Democrat campaign coffers, protect yourself with the Teacher Freedom Alliance, and get that liability insurance for free. It would be insane to continue funneling your money to these money laundering operations for the Democrat Party that we call teachers unions. They're insane. You see Randy Weingarten, Becky Pringle, they just jump around all the time, scream at their annual conventions, pass resolutions that have nothing to do with education and everything to do with politics. So let's starve the beast.
Amen, Corey DeAngelis. I'm reading an NPR from a couple of weeks ago. Nearly 1,400 department workers from the Department of Education are being fired as part of a broad reduction in force that began on March 11th. Days later, when President Trump signed an executive order to dismantle the education department, he said, "We're going to be returning the education very simply back to the states where it belongs." Talk to us about this reduction in force. Talk to us about Trump's executive order.
Yes, this is beautiful. We're halfway there. It's a good start. They should get rid of everybody at the Department of Education. That department is unconstitutional. The word education is not in the U.S. Constitution. It's therefore a violation of the 10th Amendment. Get rid of it. It should have never been born. It was created by Jimmy Carter, a Democrat, in 1979 as a political payoff to the teachers union. He wanted the NEA's endorsement. The largest labor union in the country. So he needed all the help he could get to try to get into office. And so the the unions immediately stomp their feet because they want centralized control. They want to be able to lobby one institution, that department in DC, and be able to control not just the blue states, but the red state education systems too. That's why they like the Department of Education. But you can have more money for education if you send the money back to the states, because more of it will make its way into the classroom. And that's what that Trump has called for. That's what Linda McMahon has called for. The bill in Congress by Republicans block grants that funding back to the states so you can have more local control and less union influence over the entire. I mean, we saw this during COVID too. Randi Weingarten, her union lobbied the CDC to make it more difficult to reopen schools. They like to be able to just influence one institution to have their fingers in everything. We already have 50 departments of education in every state. Why do we need another one in DC with paying these six-figure salaries to people pushing paper, useless bureaucrats thousands of miles away in Washington, D.C.? We also had another win, Austin. I mean, we're winning so much, I'm almost getting tired of winning. And it was at the Supreme Court. They tried, the Democrats tried to stop this reduction in force, but the Supreme Court thankfully ruled, it was a 6-3, should have been unanimous, that the chief executive, the president, can manage the executive branch. Oh, who would have thought? It's not rocket science. But the unions use every lever that they can to try to consolidate power, to trap your kids in their failing institutions that we call schools. And for what? They want to keep that money that's for your kids. They want to keep it for themselves. Randi Weingarten makes over $500,000 a year, screeching at the top of her lungs, jumping around. She always looks like she has a trampoline behind the podium. And look, I mean, Becky Pringle's union, they had their teacher of the year this year in July in Portland, Oregon. And that person went on the stage and let the mask slip. She said that her job, their teacher of the year, they elevated to number one, that she said her job as a teacher of all things was, quote unquote, deeply political and always had been. If that's not free advertising for homeschooling, I don't know what is.
Last question on this topic here for you. A judge struck down on last Thursday two Trump administration actions aimed at eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at the nation's schools and universities. Where do we stand with that?
Well, we've seen this before, right? There was a circuit judge that sided with the unions on the Department of Education. We won there. Even if the unions are winning these tiny battles, they're not actual victories because they're going to lose the war against parents. The children are going to win, the parents are going to win. So go ahead, take it up to the Supreme Court, and we will overturn that lower court ruling. But look, just look at what's happening. The unions are fighting any common sense reform. What that actually means is this was Randi Weingarten's AFT that filed this lawsuit, and she's celebrating right now, but she always gets curb stomped later on, figuratively speaking. And she's suing to keep DEI, divisive Marxist ideology, in the public school system. That's free advertising for school choice. At first, they were telling us that CRT is not happening. This is only a college level course. What are you talking about? Well, guess what? There was a nationwide survey this year finding that 36% of kids reported that their teachers often or almost daily said that, quote, America is a fundamentally racist nation. So CRT has infected the public schools. The unions are fighting to keep it that way, but parents are fighting back, and Trump is leading the way. He's leading the charge for parental rights in education. And look, if Randi Weingarten wants to celebrate right now, let's give her a little bit of celebration. But we should really thank her for inadvertently doing more to advance education freedom and school choice than anyone could have ever imagined. She's really stepping in it, and by launching this lawsuit, she's pissing off parents who are going to win in the end.
Corey DeAngelis, ladies and gentlemen. Corey, is there anything else on this topic or anything else that you think we may have missed, or that you'd like to share, or even give a plug before we let you go today?
And get my book. It's The Parent Revolution. It's on Amazon. It's like 50% off. It was endorsed by Trump. I dedicated it to Randi Weingarten for overplaying her hand. And if you look at her new book, it's the same as my cover, Austin. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but her cover copied the color scheme, the font. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense. But her book is something. She basically calls parents fascists, which everything I don't like is fascism. Reminds me of the NEA's annual convention this year, where they passed a resolution to call Trump a fascist and misspelled the word. I mean, it's beyond parody, Austin. You can't make it up. But my book's called The Parent Revolution. Get it today.
Hey, Corey, we're so grateful that you're out there fighting like a bulldog for education freedom, especially because you and I both have beautiful young babies about the same age. And congratulations to you on your beautiful child. Have a wonderful day, and we hope to talk to you again real soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Austin.
Thank you very much.
Last night, trying to put my son to bed, he's like, no, Dad, what time? What time's Charlie going to be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
Did you let him take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason. But the point is,
you canceled school for like 2 years. One day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
When you go to these college campuses, I love watching your TikTok, which is next level. And clearly, that's expressed by my 13-year-old son.
I want to meet this guy.
Yeah, I actually.
He's coming to a Turning Point event this summer, Tampa, Florida, Student Action Summit.
I actually am concerned. By the way, if
you should be concerned.
But so let me say, here is why I'm concerned, because you have expressed that I should be concerned as a Democrat, that we're getting clobbered.
Okay. Yes.
That you've figured something out.
It's not me. The president first deserves the credit.
But why? No, hold on. You were at this before Trump was Trump.
I know, but
he was a Democrat back in 2011 and 12.
The president deserves huge credit. And I just have to say that as an obligatory thing, because without him, our movement would be small. And you can appreciate that in politics. You have to appreciate the person who is the catalyst.
For you, that's what you sort of attached an identity with.
It was also just the catalyst. It was a cultural moment that just opened us up.
Now, that's California Governor Gavin Newsom, who his son apparently, big fan. His son apparently a big fan of Charlie Kirk. Camellia asked the question in the chat. We're all thinking, so weird. Why would Kirk platform him? I wondered the same thing, because views, news. You get those kinds of interviews with those kinds of people, and that's what gets the big clicks, and that's what gets you the money and the fame. First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women. Y2 Joe echoes that sentiment. He said, I hated how the right invited him on to try and make him look human. Yes, we got about 12 minutes left on the show today, guys. It looks like we're probably not going to unlock the bonus content, sorry to say. This means that the Wake Up America show is canceled, and everybody go home. No, it just means better luck next time. This morning we talked about Gavin Newsom. We talked about graysexuality with Rare Camellia. We talked about people who are from the 1950s who look like they were, at 18 years old, they look like they were 75 years old. And we talked to Corey DeAngelis about education freedom here on the Wake Up America show. So ask yourself this. If the Wake Up America show was worth it, worth your time, make sure you click the like button before you leave today and follow as well. If today's your first time watching the Wake Up America show, we'd love to have you be a regular guest of the show. So if you click the follow button over on Rumble, you're going to get a notification whenever we go live, which is every 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. And we'd love to have you be a regular guest because we think that it's worth it. And we're a Rumble first community for a very good reason. We're a Rumble first community because Rumble stood by us when nobody else would. When YouTube had demonetized us, Rumble stood up, reached out to me specifically and said, Austin, we would like to host the Wake Up America show. And now I'm a part of their creator program. We have 4 shows that we stream live here on Rumble. And if you are watching this on a device like a laptop or a PC or MacBook or whatever, or iPad, I want to make sure that you guys are watching us the best way, which is to use the Rumble app. It's free, it's simple to use, and it's the best way to stay connected to me and the Wake Up America show. Once you've found the app, either in your iTunes, Apple Store, or in your Android, Google Play, or however you get your applications, download the Rumble app and then click follow on me, AP for Liberty, in the app. And that is what will set up the notifications for us on Rumble. Rumble is also available if you like to watch us on a big screen TV. You can, and we're streaming in full 1920 by 1080p, full high definition. Streaming at 8,000 kilobits per second, this stinking show. So, and Rumble is allowing us to do that. And if you've noticed that the quality of the stream has improved, it's all thanks to Rumble. So you see the QR code that's on your screen right now. You can take a picture of that with your mobile phone, and that will take you to where you can download the Rumble app. So thank you very much to Rumble for helping make that happen. And we're so grateful for them hosting the Wake Up America show and being big supporters of ours. It's been a good show today, but now it's time to say goodbye. Joni Rankin says, how do I get back to the monthly subscription? I can't find it anywhere. If someone in the chat would kindly help Joni, it should be able to just click on the little, that's the rant. And then what's the gift? Yeah, I have Rumble Premium. Not quite sure, Joni. May have to do it on a laptop. Not 100% on that one. Maybe try logging in, not on a mobile phone. See if you can find it on a laptop. That might help. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me see if I can make it happen. Not going to do this while I'm live. We'll see you guys here tomorrow. Got an exciting show for you tomorrow. Big Brain Time. Judge Andrew Napolitano joins us live at 8 a.m. Central Time. At 8:30 a.m. Central Time, we're going to have a Latin American summit. Bolivia kicked out their socialists. Javier Milei's tearing it up in Argentina. What's going on in South America? They're heading towards liberty. Why are we heading towards tyranny? Why are we going to elect Gavin Newsom president of the United States or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez vice president of the United States in a few years? God, please don't let it happen. You can fight against it by joining our friends over at campaignjobsnow.com/apply. And as you exit the show today, remember to exit through the gift shop. We'll see you guys right back again here tomorrow for a special Latin American summit with a panel of guests. We're going to have Mylen Salavarria and Tony Martinez join us live tomorrow at the same time, right after Judge Andrew Napolitano. We can't wait. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. It's the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Bye, guys.
Here at Alligator Alcatraz, the fence keeps them in. But slip up, and you're on my plate.
Looks like breakfast is making a run for it. We got 3 hot meals trying to check out early from Alligator Alcatraz.
They can splash, they can sprint, but there's no escaping Alligator Alcatraz. Caught 2.
The third? Huh.
The swamp's got its own way of catching runaways.
Mama was wrong. Gators don't need toothbrushes. Just an honest job making America great again.